Chief Morris and Mr. Reiss, thank you very much for the testimony, and to the families and others in New York who are either here or watching this. I do think staff did an exceptionally good job of helping us revisit that day, and in many ways their decision to take out some of the more painful things that happened on that day removed from us the total anguish that was felt on the 11th September. And I understand why they did it, and I appreciate that they did it, but the more we get to that moment, the more likely it is that we acquire the sense of urgency necessary to resolve bureaucratic problems, resolve lots of other issues. But central to me is believing that it could happen again. Because I remember, at least at the federal level, some of the conversations that were going on after February '93, and there was some disdain that these guys had gone back and tried to get the refund off their Ryder truck and so forth, and some belief, really, that they couldn't carry out a sophisticated attack against the United States beyond what they had done in February '93. And I wonder, Mr. Reiss, if you would tell us, as you dealt with federal officials, or as you referenced the meetings that you'd had, that you attended with the fire department and with New York Police Department, having to do with evacuation plans, what was the level of concern about the possibility that the World Trade Center could actually be hit a second time?
Well, there was a concern. The Port Authority hired a bunch of security experts. We met with the FBI regularly. And the concern that everyone brought up in the beginning was a vehicle-borne bomb, an improvised explosive device. So that's why the World Trade Center entrances to its subgrade levels were blocked with these delta barriers that would stop a truck. And I certainly destroyed enough accidentally when the guards actually operated them. We ringed the World Trade Center with 10,000-pound planters to prevent someone from driving a vehicle into the lobby and detonating it. And later, as the times changed, and we met regularly with John P. O'Neill. Amazingly, the chief operating officer of the Port Authority would bring John P. O'Neill in, and he would meet with the line directors, and a lot of times he'd tell us, if anything ever came up as a threat, I'd let you know, but you can't ask me why. Just do what I tell you, because we don't have classified intelligence clearance. As the late 90s ended and 2000 approached, what the security people and others were telling us the next threat was Chem-Bio. I went out and spent well in excess of $100,000 and provided Chem-Bio training and suits and all these sophisticated saw meters and anthrax gear for the command at the World Trade Center police desk. We had seen a couple of anthrax attacks around the United States, and we felt this was the next coming wave. We had developed plans on how to isolate the air conditioning system and shut it down, but never did we have a thought of what happened on 9/11.
When did you first become aware of who Osama bin Laden was and what his capabilities were?
I would say I became aware of it when John P. O'Neill was hired by Larry Silverstein. John P. O'Neill's office...
What year was that? What year was that?
That was in 2001 in the summer.
So earlier you said that you weren't cleared for classified information, but much of the Ramzi Youssef trial was in the open. Were you ever briefed by the FBI of who Osama bin Laden was, let's say in 1996 or 1997 or 1998, that there was Islamic soldiers inside the United States of America, and that hijacking might be one of the things that they were considering?
Never. I was aware of the plot against some of the other Port Authority tunnels and the UN, but we were never briefed by them.
Do you feel any anger today as you look back upon those events, wondering how things might have been different had they trusted you enough to deliver that kind of information to you? Do you think the scenario, you'd have done some scenario analysis either inside or with outside experts that might have reached a different conclusion for preparedness?
Perhaps, but I really don't feel anger at the FBI. I feel anger at 19 people in an airplane.
Well, I appreciate that very much, as do I, but these 19 people got documents and got in the United States of America. They defeated the INS, they defeated the Customs, they defeated the FBI, they defeated the CIA, they hijacked 4 American airplanes.
Mr. Kerrey?
I'd ask you to be respectful.
It does seem to me that that one of the things we've got to figure out how to correct, and I'm really concerned about it today, that there's still a presumption that unless the first responders, and you heard staff say the last best hope on the ground that day was first responders, still a presumption that we may not be delivering the key intelligence, the facts, the information that you all need in order to run the scenarios. I'm not really trying to look back and try to figure out who was wrong, but trying to look at today to understand, are we communicating? Are we allowing the first responders to get the information they need so that they understand and can do scenario analysis in a more complete way than we did this time?
The Port Authority Police is aware of bin Laden, I would say in 94 and 95. In fact, the detective I mentioned earlier who was overseas was in the late 90s actually trying to locate him. And he retired January 1st, 2000. So that we were aware of him, we were aware that he was a dangerous man, and if the FBI, whatever information they had and they knew, we were given.
Thank you.